So I kind of had a moment of satisfaction just now. So I was throwing these really extreme left to right crosswind putts, super smash down moment. And my first set on that particular spot, the disc is just getting smashed down. I'm like landing under the basket. I'm barely getting it there. And it just doesn't feel comfortable at all. But then the very last putt of that set, I keep the same aiming point, I keep the same mentality, but my stroke is much more smooth and much more just like a spinny toss. Like, I'm not like trying to cut it through the wind and hit that spot. It was more just tossing it to that spot, and the disc like floated through the wind and then still reacted the way that I expected it to. But instead of that really dramatic like cutting down movement, it was more of a flight that I expect to see on a good putt. So that's a moment that I'm really storing in the brain, and I'm gonna use that mindset for all the other wind situations and continue that smoothness in that stroke. So back to it. Really windy day. So that is a miss that is very common for me in particular. It's a really extreme right to left wind. I mean, it's definitely right to left. It's definitely going to move my disc to the left. Definitely, right? Well, I aim low right side expecting lift and push, and I feel like I'm aiming to a pretty high percentage spot. But more times than I really like at all, that disc will hit right where it hit in that last video. We can probably play it back, and it does a little flip out or just a straight push through those little bottom right chains, and the wind doesn't affect it at all. And I'm not sure if I'm giving the wind too much credit, if it's my putter that's just flying too flat, if I'm not like respecting the angle, if I need to change my posture, my stance. But that's something that's on my mind. I know it's a consistent miss. It's not a fluke. There's something to that miss that I need to alter in my game, and it's on my mind. Mental notes. We're practicing. And we're going to keep practicing that putt in particular. So on that last set of 4 right there, I kept that note in my mind, and I kept that phrase that I said, I don't know if I'm respecting the angle or not. And so this time I just made sure that I exposed the part of the disc that I expect to be exposed, so I expect the wind to do what it does. Because, you know, if I'm throwing it too flat, then I'm not going to get the expectation that I was going into the throw with. So all 4 of those, I made sure that my hyzer release was consistent. I got that smooth toss of a stroke. I'm not trying to fire it through the wind. I'm just trying to toss it to my spot with an expectation that if the wind affects it, I'm going to hit dead center and hit a lot of chains. But if nothing happens, I'm still throwing a make. My first one, nothing moved. It didn't move at all, but I still hit exactly where I needed to hit. And if it was a little flat, it would have definitely spun out like the first one. And then the last 3 were perfect little like hyzer angle putts that the wind like affected. My confidence was raising on every single putt because my mindset is good. I have confidence when I'm putting. Moving on. We need more right to left crosswind putts. I'm getting a lot of positive reinforcement on just tossing the putter to the spot that I think I need to throw it at for a make. If the wind doesn't affect it, it's a make. And I'm just seeing that I'm consistently hitting that spot, even in these really strong winds. I'm hitting the spot I'm aiming at, even though the wind is blowing really, really hard. So I'm getting this like really strong positive reinforcement and confidence in my stroke to just continuously toss it to the spot that I trust. Don't overdo the putt. Don't panic in the moment. Just toss it at your spot and just positive reinforcement over and over again. I'm not making all 5 of them every time, but I'm making enough of them that I know, like, and I'm seeing like positive results, and I'm really confident. It's really windy out here today, and we're making putts, and that's just that's such a confidence builder. All right, back to it. Yeah, guys, this is really a great session. I'm so happy I came out here this morning before heading to the gym. So a final note that I wanted to make before I finish up on some headwind putts. But before I'm putting on each spot, even before, you know, multiple putts sometimes, I'm checking the wind with some grass. Now, A point that I always like to make when I'm teaching wind putting or talking about wind putting in general, or just testing the wind in general, is that when you're dropping some grass, you're dropping any material, you're not going to manipulate what happens when it comes out of your hand. So when I'm testing with the grass, I'm not throwing the grass to check the wind, because I'm throwing it in a direction if I do that, and I'm not getting a true read. So when I'm testing the grass, testing the wind, I always make sure it's just a clean drop. See, the wind took the grass right out of my hands and took it that direction right there. So I expect that same sort of reaction when I throw a putt. I don't need to throw the grass to see that. The wind is going to do it for me. And that's just a point I wanted to make before I finish up here on some headwind putts. I'm going to check the wind. I'm going to make sure that direction is sound. And then I'm going to toss my putt through that wind and make some putts. Let's finish it up strong. Okay, I think we can wrap it up there. One thing I noticed about those headwind putts is even though I made some with my stroke that I've been throwing this entire set, but I needed to put a little bit more spin on those headwind putts just to get less reaction out of it. I'm still got the same mindset, still trying to just toss it to my spot that I'm throwing at, but I have to put a little bit more spin on it out of the hand, a little bit more direction with my wrist, I guess, to get it to cut through there and not finish on like a lift on that at that last second where I was missing at the beginning. But other than that, I feel really confident after the day. I got all the wind directions under my belt. Really consistent wind this morning in Oklahoma. That's the beauty of living here. You can always count on that. So now let's go hit the gym. Have a good day, y'all.